Good evening. My name's Anatoly Anatolisa, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Uh, Excuse my voice. I'm kind of getting over something. Um, Today I want to talk to you about the gaslighting that the progressives in America like to do to inflate their narrative and make it inhospitable for anybody that might actually just want to function in America. Um, I'm going to start with a conversation that I had, and then I'm going to end with the transgender issues. And I think there's some very important things to consider with the transgender issues, especially with the violent trends that we're seeing on the male side of it. So let's get into this. By the way, and I always hate bringing this up, but it's necessary. The QR code in the upper right hand side of a coin um, leads to a PayPal account so we can stay funded, stay on the air. If you like us, please donate. Um, there's a there's a newsletter that is listed in the Rumble app of this episode that you can subscribe to. That is our bibliography. It's our research for the episode. It's our citations. So for $4 a month, the cost of coffee, you can read through the research, see where I'm going with it, and actually think for yourself. Something that the mainstream media doesn't allow you to do. All right, let's get into it. A couple days ago, I had a conversation with a young man that works in a different department where I work. And this is a really intelligent, really ambitious young man who said that he wanted to join the Air Force because he wanted to get a pilot's license and technical difficulties. Okay. He wanted to get a pilot's license because he wanted to become a commercial airline pilot. Well, I'm like, that's cool. Then he goes, but I don't think they'll let me because I'm black. Then I told him that those limitations aren't there anymore. I told him about the Tuskegee Airmen the Red Tails from World War II that were so successful in their missions that the Army Air Corps that later became the United States Air Force fully was the first military branch to fully integrate with no limitations. Then I pointed out to him that the ship that he is working on is named after a black man. I reminded him that I didn't say it this way, but that one of the worst presidents in American history was a black man. I remind him about Colin Powell, one of the greatest military leaders that this country's ever known. But the problem is that we have this underlying ingrained fear that you're not going to be accepted because of your skin color. Basically because of the leftist propaganda and their gaslighting to cause division in America. We can't allow this to happen. These young people are the future of this country, the future of the world. And these petty divisions in between political parties and so on have to be thrown out, especially when it comes to skin color. He then told me that he was surprised that I would talk this way because he always thought I was a conservative. I go, I am. It's not the Conservative Party that held slaves. It's not the Conservative Party that started the Civil War. Our education system is teaching otherwise. Dinesh D'Souza points out in The Big Lie how intricate the web of deceit has become in order for the Democrat Party to bury their roots in slavery. But in fact, everything that they're doing right now is pointing out and pointing to their agenda to enslave everybody, not just the blacks. So when somebody says that you've never known slavery, point out that you too have to go to work every day. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties with the next clip, and it's kind of frustrating. So bear with me, please.
Hello, welcome to Rising. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. Brianna, let's get started. Obviously, another tragedy unfolding before us, so we want to talk about that.
As 3 children and 3 adults were shot and killed yesterday in a Nashville grade school. The suspect, 28-year-old Audrey Hale, was also shot and killed by the police. Hale is transgender and a former student of the Covenant School, a private Presbyterian school. Police say Hale left a manifesto detailing, quote, resentment for having to go to that school as the reason behind the massacre. Officials have also determined Hale was heavily armed with at least 2 assault rifles and kept detailed plans in preparation for the shooting, including by hand-drawing maps and conducting personal surveillance. So far, police believe Hale shot at random and that no individuals were targeted. Those killed have been identified as Evelyn Deghouse, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney, all age 9, Cynthia Peak, age 61, Catherine Coons, age 60, and Mike Hill, age 61.
Now keep in mind that last year's Gay Pride Month manifested this ugly narrative, and they eventually tried to back down and say that it was a joke. And yet now we have trans men or things going into schools and shooting up schools. They're already in the schools with the critical gender theory. We're already seeing them go into libraries with the trans story hour bullshit. And now they're threatening us. They're literally declaring war on us, and people don't seem to understand that.
Convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night to protests. Oh, and you'll be disgusted. So gross. When they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight. I will convert your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children.
Death on me and have caused death to many, many, many of my brothers and sisters in the trans community.
So please explain to me how anyone's caused death to many, many, many of your brothers and sisters in the trans community by misgendering you. Grow up.
Video for you. And so I decided that what I wanted to do was something on, I feel that there's a lot of violence coming from the trans community, even though they say that the violence is coming from outside of the community. there's violence from everyone these days. I see that. But what I also see is this trans community not taking responsibility for their own participation in the violence in this community. So one of these clips I'm going to be reacting to is directed specifically towards me, and that I'm violent to the community and that I'm a violent person, which is so insane and pretty scary. And I decided that I want to bring attention to these types of things that that I am seeing specifically myself in this community that I find very disturbing and in no way, shape, or form helping us move forward. So, and to push back against this insane narrative that is coming out of a community that I once felt like I belonged to, and I just don't resonate with all of this insane violence. So with that, let's move forward here, and I'm going to react to this first one here. Let me get this rolling here. Oh God, it's just, I hate it. I hate the whole thing, to be honest with you. It's so gross. Okay, here we go.
Death on transphobic people because they wish death on me and have caused death to many, many, many of my brothers and sisters in the trans community. I want to stab all of you to death as many times as I can. I want to stab you in the throat and twist it like I'm carving a fucking pumpkin. I want to shred you into tiny fucking pieces. I want to tear your fucking bones out from your goddamn body. I want to scoop your brains out with a fucking spoon. I want to eat your fucking flesh.
Really? I mean, I just sometimes don't know what to say when I see stuff like this, other than that I'm disgusted and I'm horrified that this is becoming a narrative in our community. And here's the weird thing I see. Mostly I see a lot of this coming from trans women.
Yeah, it would kind of make sense that the violence is coming out of trans women with all the estrogen hormones and testosterone blockers and stuff. Men are not wired for this. The aggression's going to come out. Basically, or creating demons.
These types of things that I don't understand why this community is not pushing back on these people. This is not helping us. This is, people are using, I found these on sites of people that don't like us, by the way. So they're using these things in order to perpetuate this narrative that we're all crazy and we're all nutcases and we're all violent, which is so not true. And I'm trying to pull back and show you outside there people who have been sort of feel like the trans community is violent. I don't blame you. When I see stuff like this, I don't blame you. This is not okay. And this is really starting to make me upset and make me feel that I don't understand this community anymore, what you all want. What do you want to achieve with putting stuff like that out there? Because you're not achieving anything positive. You're only making a more negative space for all of us in this community. And I won't tolerate it. And I'm going to call all of you out on this, because that has done nothing but create such a backlash for this community, and that stuff they're using against us. And you should all be ashamed of yourself for saying insane stuff like that. So that one really bugs me so much. Okay, so I'm gonna wait do you see this? Okay. What are you? Oh wow, really? Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's scary. And you know the writing on there is basically just saying arm yourself. All trans people should arm themselves against TERFs and against people. Like what? Yeah, that's going to solve the problem. Violence with violence.
I put the link in the newsletter for Buck Angel. I really think that anybody that's actually interested in a full story might actually want to follow this is a trans man. I'm not comfortable with, but out of respect for the person, I will call him a him. Seems like a decent person. So go and okay. That was the problem child clip, and as you see, there's definitely a pattern. We have people declaring that they're coming for our kids. They're singing about converting our kids during gay pride. We have a trans woman, I guess you want to call it, going into a Christian school and just shooting up the place. And others threatening to mutilate us, and showing off a cheap AR-15 as if we're supposed to be intimidated, when most of us have been drooling for the moment that we can put a bullet in their heads. The agenda is not clear. Are they suicidal? I don't know. But I do know one thing. A simple Google search will tell you that every occurrence of a mass shooting has one correlation to causality. And that is a drastic change in their psychotic meds. Okay? I'm going to get a lot of flack from the left. I do anyway. But I'm just going to say it. The whole trans thing is a mental disorder. And then you have these biological males suppressing their male hormones with female hormones that are not even supposed to be in their body. And we're wondering why the hell they're lashing out. I'm a cop. I am not a scientist. Well, forensic anthropologist maybe, but I'm not a doctor. I can't go in and say flat out that these chemical imbalances are going to make somebody go violent. But it seems like a valid theory. And it seems like something that we really need to address. Isn't enough enough? I mean, tolerance does not mean acceptance. We can tolerate what somebody does without accepting them. But how far are we supposed to tolerate it? When they start coming after our kids, we're supposed to just let them. in my world, we put them in a wood chipper. I'm just saying, we have to protect our kids before anything, because they are the future. And before Google actually started suppressing it, there were over 400,000 documented research papers that were correlating childhood abuse with homosexuality. It is not normal. It is a learned behavior. And if you actually get any one of these men, to be honest, they would probably have to admit that they were sexually abused as a child. We need to address the problem, not the symptom. All right. That's what I have for today. I hope you got some information out of this. It was certainly enlightening for me. We are in some weird times. And our children have to be protected. But we also have to provide an example. So, as you provide for them, I hope that you live free, you die well, and you love your neighbor as Christ has loved you. I'm Anatoly Anatolisova. Please like and subscribe. All clear, sir.